What is up, people? Hope you're doing great. Hope you're having a great time. Um, Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another video. I apologize, guys, for not posting this past week. The last time I posted was the build up to the Chelsea game, and then obviously we won the Chelsea game, but I don't think I posted after that result. So I apologize for that lack of content. I have been struggling a bit like late this past week, especially these past few days with load shedding, because we have stage 6 blackouts basically at this moment in time. So from time to time I'm having very little amount of time with electricity, which kind of puts my schedule up in arms. So I apologize for that, guys. I will try and be more regular with the content now. With this upcoming weekend coming up, obviously it's Derby Day. It's the Manchester Derby, it's the North London Derby. However, I don't think I'll actually get a chance to watch the North London Derby. I'm not sure. What's happening is that I have to go to this event for school. Um and now I'm gonna be away from home, and I'm gonna be back next week. Now I don't know what we'll be doing in that event on Sunday when the North London Derby is playing. Obviously, I will try and get some time to watch the North London Derby because I would like to watch it. In terms of the Manchester Derby tomorrow, I don't think. In fact, I will watch the second half of the game, but I won't watch the first half because I'll be on a flight when the first half is playing. My flight is between 10 to 2 and 20 past 3. Now, the derby here in South Africa kicks off at 2:30. So during that time, during the whole first half, I'll be on a plane basically. I'm not going to be able to watch the first half, but I will definitely watch the second half, because the second half is going to probably start around 25 past 3, 3:30, of which at that time I will have internet connection. So I guess it's the perks of living in a third world country or whatever we are, because in the US, airlines have Wi Fi. So you can stream if you want to on a flight. I think in the UK, it's like that as well. So yeah, it is what it is. Um, I mean, I don't know if here, if you maybe are in first class, maybe you have Wi Fi. I don't know. But basically, I'm not going to be able to watch the first half of the Manchester Derby, but I will watch the second half. And then the North London Derby, I'm not sure if I'll be able to watch the game. And with regards to doing like uh, a review of these games, I will try, but again, I can't guarantee that I will be able to do so because again, I don't know what I'll be doing on Monday, for example, or maybe if I can watch that thingy, if I can watch that North London Derby on Sunday, I will try and just give thingy like a quick review after the game is finished, so that I can just keep the content regular. But I'm probably not gonna have a ring light, so I'll probably just have to, because I'm not gonna be able to fit this in my suitcase. So I'll just probably do like a quick review, and then I'll post it. So yeah, guys, it's kind of, I'm in that predicament at this moment in time. Um, yeah, this school thing comes up at the wrong time because I mean it's the Manchester Derby, it's the North London Derby, Arsenal versus Tottenham, Man United versus City, at Old Trafford. The North London Derby is at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So some really intriguing games this upcoming weekend. Obviously, Arsenal currently first with 44 points, and City are second with 39 points. I think United are fourth. I'm not quite sure how many points they have. I have got some stats here on the laptop, so I'll just be looking here. I did actually find a website that has some decent stats uh, on it. It's called Opta Analyst, so I'll be using that site. Here it is. Actually, it looks pretty cool. There's Eric Ten Hag and Pep there. Yeah, man, gonna be a great game. Obviously, if I just start with Man City, the game we had against Southampton was probably the worst performance I've seen in quite a long time. Like we were really bad against Southampton, and like we just didn't compete. We didn't turn up. And I don't usually say that about City not turning up. We lose games sometimes, but I never accuse the players of not turning up. Against Southampton, we didn't turn up. And Southampton, who are bottom of the league because they're 20th, even though it was the Carabao Cup, they completely outplayed us. They pressed us from the front and they literally stopped us from playing. Now, we usually stop teams from playing, and it was done to us against Southampton. Really, really poor performance. It was a poor performance from Sergio Gomez at left back. Personally, I don't think the kid is good enough. I think he has to go out on loan and get some game time. And I think the club need to sign a left back. We sold Zinchenko in the summer to Arsenal. We didn't replace him because Sergio Gomez is not good enough to be part of our first team at this moment in time. Now, he might develop and reach a level where he will be good enough, but at this moment in time, he's just not the answer. So we need to send him out on loan or something, and we need to find a left back who is going to provide competition for Cancelo and who's going to provide cover for Cancelo whenever Cancelo is injured or whenever he's off form. Because at this moment in time, Cancelo is not playing well. He's been really poor. He was really poor as well against Southampton. He was poor defensively. He was poor on the ball. He's just off it at this moment in time. Since he came back from the World Cup. He hasn't been anywhere near his usual level. So that's the predicament that we find ourselves in at this moment in time. And now, because Cancelo is not playing well, Pep is playing Ake as a left back. Now, I do not have a problem whatsoever with Ake as a player. But I do have a huge problem with him playing at left back. Why? Why do I have a problem? As much as Ake hasn't done anything wrong while he's been playing at left back, he is not a fullback. And as a result, he is not going to be as adventurous in terms of going forward like a Cancelo or like a Zinchenko when we had Zinchenko. And as a result of that, that makes our left-hand side of our attack completely and utterly useless. Now, what do I mean when I say it's completely useless? If we're playing Jack Grealish on the left-hand side or Phil Foden on the left-hand side, those are the two players that we are currently playing on that left-hand side at this moment in time. Jack Grealish and Phil Foden, they're not slow, but they're not quick. They don't have the pace of a Leroy Sané or a Sterling or a Mane at Liverpool or Salah. So as a result, they don't have the ability, like traditional wing play, when a winger has the ball and he's running like at a slow pace with the ball and he stops, like he completely stops. He stops dead. And then the defender stops as well. Then the winger knocks the ball past the defender and he literally just burns him for pace. We don't have that on our wings because we have Grealish and we have Foden. And as I've said, they're not slow, but they're not quick. They don't have that pace, that natural burst of pace that you would find from a Sterling or a Mane or a Salah or a Sané. So as a result, they need a fullback to attack with them. They need a fullback to overlap when they have the ball. How is that going to help? That helps because it takes away a defender. At this moment in time, because we have Ake playing at left back and he's not as adventurous going forward, we find Phil Foden and Jack Grealish being double teamed all the time. Now, what do? Because they're double teamed, they cut back, they cut in to their right foot and they pass the ball back into midfield. As a result, we can't attack with pace. We can't, literally, each and every time we get the ball and we get the ball to the front players, the left wing position, whoever is playing, whether it be Grealish, whether it be Foden, they're cutting inside. And it's not because they're not confident or whatever. It's because you can't beat two people at once, at all times. If you are up against two players at the same time, 9 times out of 10 you won't be able to beat them because there's two players and there's only one of you. That's why you need an overlapping fullback who is constantly overlapping to basically take away the other defender and to put some doubt in the other defender that, oh, this guy is overlapping, let me go with him. That leaves your winger isolated with one defender, and any good winger is going to be able to beat one defender when they're up against them one-on-one. So that's the problem we have at this moment in time. Cancelo is off form, and we do not have another left back, another good enough left back to help out on that left-hand side. And as a result, we're playing Ake. And yes, Ake is solid defensively, but offensively, it takes so much away from us because it makes our left-hand side completely useless when we don't have an attacking fullback in that position. So that's the only thing that worries me about this game against Man United, in that, like, we are not at our fluid best when it comes to attacking. And I believe one of the reasons why that is because we have a back four of either Rico Lewis, Laporte, Akanji, and Ake. And you have three defenders in that back four. And as a result, you do not have a left back that is going to be adventurous and that is going to attack on that left-hand side. And that takes away so much from the team in terms of that left-hand side, because it takes away so much from the game of the winger who is playing at left wing. One of our best performances in our last 5 games was against Chelsea in the Carabao, not the Carabao Cup, in the FA Cup on Saturday. No, not on Saturday, on Sunday, last week on Sunday. And in that game, we had Walker at right back and we had Sergio Gomez at left back. Now, I know I've just said Sergio Gomez is not good enough, and he is not. Chelsea were diabolical in that game against us on Sunday. They literally didn't do anything. And as a result, Sergio Gomez was like, he was never worried in terms of having to defend, because he is quite an awful defender. Like against Southampton, there was this one time where a long ball came over his head, and instead of engaging with the ball and heading it out of play or heading it back where it's coming from, he literally lets the ball go over his head and he lets the ball bounce. And in a flash, he's being pressed by the Southampton players. And Southampton almost scored from that if it was not for Laporte making a great tackle and we considered a corner. So, but the reason I'm bringing the point of us against Chelsea on Sunday was because in that game, you saw us basically attacking in a fluid manner. Why? Because we had two fullbacks who were both attacking. Yes, they were both defending, especially Walker, because he was coming back to help out defensively, but they were also attacking and they were adventurous. And as a result, they were giving our wingers that option of taking away the second defender, and they're also giving them that option of, okay, beat your man or pass the ball to me. Like, it helps so much. If you have inverted wingers who want to cut inside all the time, you need to have fullbacks that are going to overlap to take away the other defender, so that you leave that winger of yours isolated 1v1 against one defender. And any winger, as I've said, if he's isolated 1v1 against a defender, he's going to back himself that he's going to beat that defender. So that's my issue at this moment in time. Personally, I know Walker was poor against Southampton. He was playing at centre half, but I would still start Walker on that right-hand side at right back because of the pace of Marcus Rashford. Rashford is really playing well at this moment in time. I think he has 7 goals in his last 7 games, and we need that pace of Walker in order to try and nullify the pace of Rashford and try and limit what Rashford can do on the pitch. So personally, I would go with Walker at right back. I've just seen from Pep's press conference that John Stones is not going to be fit for the game, so he is injured. So I would basically play Laporte and Akanji or Ake. I don't really mind whoever plays between Akanji and Ake, and I would play Cancelo at left back. I know Cancelo is not playing well at this moment in time, but he's not been playing well on that right-hand side. And to be honest, Cancelo doesn't look comfortable on that right-hand side. I know it sounds weird because he's actually right-footed and he's a fullback, so you would naturally think that he should be more comfortable on the right than he is on the left. But if you actually watch him play, every time he plays on the right, he doesn't actually look quite comfortable playing there. But whenever he plays on the left, he can cut inside into his favorite right foot. He can hit outside foot passes, and he enjoys playing on that left-hand side much more than he enjoys playing on that right-hand side. So I know Rico Lewis has been really playing well at this moment in time. Really, really, really good. But I would just go with experience in this game because Man United come into the game in good form and Rashford is in top form at this moment in time. So I would just go with Walker, Akanji, or Ake, Laporte, and Cancelo. Midfield, Rodri, Silva, De Bruyne. Attack, I would go with Foden, Haaland, and Mahrez. I know Grealish played really well against Man United last time out, but I would go with Phil Foden. But if Pep goes with Jack Grealish, I don't really mind. I would just play Phil Foden and Mahrez and Haaland. Now, that's what I would pick. Obviously, Edison, the goalkeeper. Now, in terms of what I think Pep is going to pick, I think he's going to pick Rico Lewis at right back. And I think he's probably going to pick like Laporte and Ake, not and Akanji. And then he's going to play Ake at left back. I hope he does not play that team. Not because I don't trust Rico Lewis or anything like that. I would be more comfortable having Walker play as the right back because of the pace of Rashford. And also, I would be more comfortable having Cancelo play as the left back because I think it just brings fluidity to our attack and it makes us so much better when it comes to attacking. So that's what that's what I'm praying that Pep does. Because I think if he does that and he picks the 4 players that I've mentioned, I think we have a huge chance of winning the game. Because it's going to bring fluidity to our attack and it's also going to have some experience defensively. So I hope that he picks that team, but we'll just have to wait and see, obviously, and come tomorrow when we see the lineups. Obviously, Man United, as I've said, playing really well at this moment in time. However, I am a bit I'm a bit what's the right word? Like, it's not. Even though obviously this doesn't concern me or doesn't bother me, I am quite flabbergasted by Man United fans in terms of how deluded they are. Now, the reason why I'm saying how deluded they are is because all of a sudden you're hearing Manchester United fans, some saying they are in a title race, some saying that they have a chance to win the league, some people have even suggested that they have a chance to finish above Man City. Now, let's just put this into context. Man United are in good form, but who have they played? That's the most important question that I'll just ask before I go on. If I look here, Man United in the last 10 games, not the last 10. I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I'll go in the last 11 games that Man United have played. The last 11, right? So this goes back to the 6th of November, before we went to the World Cup. They have won 1, 2, okay, they're friendlies here. Yeah, they're friendlies here during that World Cup break. So I'm not going to count those. So in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In the last 9 competitive matches that Man United have played, I'm not counting friendlies during that World Cup break. They've basically won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in the last 9 games, they've won 8. Right? Great form. But who is it up against? Now, listen to these names. Aston Villa, Fulham. They barely beat Fulham because it was a 2-1 win. Burnley in the Carabao Cup. Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. Wolves in the Premier League. Bournemouth in the Premier League. Everton in the FA Cup. And Charlton in the League Cup. Now, Charlton, I think they're a 3rd division team. Burnley, a 2nd division team. And Everton, Bournemouth, Wolves, Nottingham Forest are all in the bottom 10 in the league. And the 9th game out of that, basically, I said they've won 8 of the last 9. That 9th game was against Aston Villa in the Premier League and they lost 3-1. So, really, when you look at it, the only team that could be viewed, in my opinion, as a test is Aston Villa. And they've actually lost that game. They've won all the other ones, but it's up against teams that are in the bottom 10 of the league. So, really, are you going to set up there and say you have a chance to compete in the title because you've actually won some games against teams in the bottom 10? I know Man United won against Liverpool last year and against Arsenal, but they still have to play those teams again. They still have to play Liverpool at Anfield. They still have to play Arsenal at Emirates. They still have to play Tottenham. They still have to play us. which they're gonna do tomorrow. So like, I mean, I don't get it in terms of how you can, just because you've won against teams that are in the bottom 10, teams you should beat. Because let's be honest, what do Man United want to achieve this season? They want to go back to the Champions League. They want to be in the top 4. Well, then you should be beating teams in the bottom 10 if you want to be in the top 4. That's not something that you should be like raving about, because that's what you're supposed to do if you are serious about making that top 4. So I don't know. I just think it's a bit delusional to kind of like start talking about titles and all that, whereas you've beaten teams that you should be beating. So that's just what I wanted to say. Obviously, if I give you some quick stats here before I move on, this is going to be the 188th competitive Manchester derby that is going to take place between City and United, obviously. And obviously, this says here the omens look good for Man City. Again, I said this website is Opta Analyst. I don't want to be accused of plagiarism. So the omens look good for Man City, with no side defeating Man United more often in the Premier League at Old Trafford than they have. So we've beaten Man United at Old Trafford more than any other team that, like, in basically that has defeated Man United at Old Trafford. We have the most wins against them in their own stadium, which is 8 wins. And then it's saying here, a victory in this game for Pep Guardiola's side will see them defeat United for a record 19th time in the competition since it began in 1992. So if we beat United this weekend, we're gonna be beating them for the 19th time in the Premier League era. So the Premier League era started in 1992. Before that, it was called the Old Division. The Premier League era started in 1992, and if we beat Man United this time, we're going to be beating them for a record 19th time in the Premier League, which obviously is a decent record, considering that Man United for many of those years were way better than us, because we were languishing in the second division, being promoted and relegated and all of that. And only Chelsea and Liverpool have the same amount of wins as us against Man United in the Premier League era, which is 18. So if we beat them, it's going to be a record in terms of who's beaten Man United the most in the Premier League era. And then basically we have... So it's saying that Man United's recent head-to-head record against City is terrible, with 3 successive defeats in the Premier League in which they've conceded 12 goals in total. The same tally of goals as in their previous 12 meetings with City combined. If they lose this game, it will be the first time since November 2014 that they have lost 4 successive Premier League Manchester derbies. So obviously, we've beaten Man United the last 3 times we've played against them in the Premier League. Obviously, it was the 6-3 this season. It was 4-1 last year at the Etihad, and it was 2-0 at Old Trafford last year. And we've scored 12 goals against Man United. More than we've scored, well, basically the same we've scored in our previous 12 meetings before these 3 games that they've now lost successively against us. And Erik ten Hag is looking to avoid becoming the Man United manager to lose his first 2 matches against City since David Moyes in the season 2013-14. So obviously after Sir Alex Ferguson left. But his adversary Pep Guardiola has never defeated a Manchester United manager twice in the same league season. Both of his previous league doubles came against 2 different United coaches versus Jose Mourinho and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So Pep basically hasn't beaten the same Manchester United manager twice in the same season. Obviously, Man United have had quite a few managerial changes in these past few years, so that's why Pep hasn't defeated one Manchester United manager twice in the same season. And then it's saying here this will be Pep Guardiola's 500th top flight league game as a manager. And this Manchester derby will be his 246th game in the Premier League with Man City, adding to 152 with Barcelona in La Liga and 102 in the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich. To date, Guardiola has won 379 of his 499 top flight league games as a manager, 76%, with this being both the most wins and the best win ratio of any manager to take charge of at least 100 games across the Big 5 European leagues since his first campaign in 2008-2009 at Barcelona.
some great numbers there for Pep. And obviously, the previous meeting was the one where we beat Man United at the Etihad 6-3, which was a scoreline that flattered Man United because in the second half we just strolled around and we brought a few young players in just to because Pep felt sorry for them because it was 6-1 at one point. And then yeah, so if we just look at the stats in that last Manchester derby at the Etihad, obviously goals 6 to City, 3 to United. Expected goals 3.3 for City, 1.7 for United. 22 shots for City, 10 on target. 12 shots for United, 8 on target. 54-46 in terms of the possession. So not bad there for Man United. And then obviously this was the first time that City scored 6 goals in a home game against Man United in all competitions, while the previous two instances of City scoring 6 versus United away from home. Obviously, in 2011, we won 6-1 against United at Old Trafford, and in January 1926, we also won 6-1. Obviously, that was a very long time ago. And then, yeah, man. Okay. Um, Obviously, Erling Haaland scored his third successive Premier League home. Eh? He scored. Yeah. So, quite ridiculously, this was the third successive Premier League home match that Erling Haaland had scored a hat-trick for Manchester City. So, the game against United, when Haaland scored a hat-trick, it was the third successive game that he had scored a hat-trick, which was basically a record. No one has ever done that in the Premier League before. Obviously, Phil Foden also scored a hat-trick against United in that last game. Um, okay. Okay, so should City repeat their success in this match, it will be the sixth time that they have completed their home win or away win double in the Premier League against United. This would be a new record for the most Premier League doubles over the Red Devils since the introduction of the competition in 1992, beating Liverpool's tally of 5, which they currently share. So we've had 5 league doubles over Man United in the Premier League era, meaning we've beaten them home and away five in 5 seasons in the Premier League era, and that's a record we currently share with Liverpool. So if we win this game, that's obviously going to be a record that we hold in our own. Um, yeah. So obviously some Man United stats. Man United entered this derby in great form since and including their win over Liverpool on the 22nd of August last year. No team has won more points in the Premier League than Manchester United, 35. They have won 11 of their last 15 games in this time, drawing 2 and losing 2, which is a drastic change of fortune considering they'd lost their 4 league games before this. In all competitions, United are on an 8-match winning streak, with which is their best run since January 2019 in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first 8 games in charge of the club as caretaker at that time. They haven't won 9 in a row since January 2017 under Jose Mourinho. The 8 teams that United have defeated in this run was Aston Villa, Fulham, Burnley, Nottingham Forest, Wolves, Bournemouth, Everton, Charlton. Again, what I was saying in terms of put some context in it. Yes, Man United have an 8-match winning streak, but who have they actually played against? Teams that you would expect them to beat if they want to make that top 4. So, some context there. Eric Ten Hag's side have kept 3 consecutive clean sheets in the Premier League. The Red Devils haven't kept 4 in a row since March 2021, but the last time that they kept 4 clean sheets and won every game was back in August 2017. I would say they're definitely not keeping a clean sheet against us because they are not stopping us from scoring. That's what I would say. Um, Ten Hag is on his second sequence of 4 successive Premier League wins as Manchester United boss, having also done so between August and September earlier this season. Ralph Rangnick never managed a 4-game winning run in league competition as Man United boss, with their last winning run as long as this coming in April 2021, 5 in a row under Solskjaer. Okay. With 19 points from 21 available in their last 7 Premier League matches at Old Trafford, winning 6, drawing 1, Man United entered this derby with their best home league form over a 7-game period since November 2017, which we actually beat them in that game, because we did beat them. I remember that game in 2017. It was, yeah, did we beat them? I think we did. Actually, I was thinking of the game before, so the season before 2017, which was in 2016. So I'm not actually sure if we did beat them in 17-18 at Old Trafford. We did though, man. I'm sure we did. That was the season when we won the league. Yeah, we beat them. I'm pretty sure we beat them in that game. Man City v Man U 17-18. Yeah, 17-18. I'm pretty sure we beat them that game. Yeah, we beat them. We beat them 3-1 in that game. Yes, right. Yeah, we did beat them. We beat them 3-1 in that game. No. Wait. Yeah, 2-1 actually. Yeah, we beat them 2-1, I think. Premier League, let's say. Premier League. Yeah, we beat them 2-1 in that game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that. And then obviously, okay. Obviously, players to watch. Rashford. Rashford is really playing well at this moment in time. And yeah, man, that's why I would like for Walker to play. Because I think the pace of Rashford can cause problems for us. In thingy. On the counter attack, and I think he has 18 goals so far this season in all competitions. Yeah, which is obviously quite good, because last season he only had uh, he only had 5 goals last season. So the fact that he already has 18 now says quite a lot. Okay. And then obviously Erling Haaland as well. He has 27 goals in 23 competitive games for City this season. Yeah, the next best is Mbappe with 7 less goals. So Mbappe has 20 goals so far in all competitions this season. And Haaland scored 21 of his goals in the Premier League, despite making just 16 appearances. So 21 goals in 16 games. He's only failed to score in 4 games this season, and he's averaging a goal every 62 minutes, which is quite phenomenal. Of all players to have scored 20 goals in Premier League history, the next best in the all-time ranking for minutes per goal is Sergio Aguero on 108 minutes. A full 46 minutes more than Haaland. So that just tells you the context in terms of how good Haaland has been so far this season. Yeah, man. I think let's end the stats now, man. I've said quite a lot. Hopefully, obviously, we win the game, and yeah, man. Derby day. I'm predicting a 3-2 City win. I'm gonna say 3-2 City, because I think Man United are good. I think they will score, but I think they're not stopping us from scoring. I'm gonna go for a 3-2 City win. Now, on to the North London derby. Already 33 minutes into the video now. Okay, North London derby. Again, big game this weekend. Why? Because obviously, in the context of the title, Arsenal are currently 5 points clear. If they lose to Tottenham and we win against United, they're only going to be 2 points clear. But also, if they win against Tottenham and we lose against United, they're going to be 8 points clear. So, there's a lot of jeopardy in this weekend, in this upcoming weekend. So yeah, some big games. Obviously, Spurs this season haven't been like, as much as they've had some good results, they haven't been like impressive, to say the least. Even though they are currently, I think, 5th in the Premier League at this moment in time, but they haven't really played that well. But again, this is the derby, and it doesn't really matter who has played well and who hasn't played well, because like whenever it's a derby, all the players are going to be up for the game. Like you can lose your previous 5 games, when you're going to play in a derby, you up for it. Like you up for the game. You're looking forward to the game. And yeah, Spurs have played 18 games and they have 33 points, 2 points behind Man United and Newcastle, even though Man United have played a game less than Tottenham. So Tottenham, yes, they are still in position to obviously make top four, just that they're not playing that well at this moment in time. So yeah, and obviously Arsenal playing really well. In the last 6 games they've played, they've won 5 and they've drawn 1. Obviously drawing against Newcastle the last time they played in the Premier League. Um, and yeah, man, it's gonna be a very interesting North London derby. It's obviously at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and in previous seasons, this has been a game that has been won by the home team. So even last season, Arsenal won the home game at the Emirates, their home game at the Emirates, and Spurs won their home game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So again, it's going to be a very interesting game. I think Harry Kane is 1 goal away from equaling Jimmy Greaves's all-time record in terms of being Tottenham Hotspur's record goal scorer. So if Kane scores 2 goals or more, he is going to be outright on his own in terms of the top goal scorer in Tottenham Hotspur's history. And also, Harry Kane has the most goals in North London derbies. I don't know how many, but he does have the most goals in North London derbies. So he does love a goal on Derby Day against the bitter rivals. So obviously, Spurs are gonna want to beat Arsenal, because they don't want Arsenal to win the league, obviously, and obviously Arsenal are gonna want to beat Tottenham because they want to rub it in their faces that they are gonna win the league. So that's the jeopardy. Um. Okay. So Sunday's fixture will be the 172nd league meeting between Arsenal and Tottenham. Although only 163 of the previous English Football League matches between the pair have been considered a true derby, originally located south of the Thames in Plumstead. So obviously Thames is like the River Thames in London. Arsenal eventually moved to North London in 1913. This move to Highbury incensed Tottenham, who believed this was their territory. Now true neighbours, the North London Derby rivalry began. So a bit of history there with regards to how the North London Derby came about. Obviously, there are 69 Arsenal wins in the North London Derby, there are 47 draws, and there are 55 Tottenham wins. Arsenal have scored 266 goals, Spurs have scored 235 goals. And then Arsenal lead the all-time Football League head-to-head record in this fixture with 69 wins. Oh, I've already said that. And then the Gunners enjoyed a dominant victory over Spurs at the Emirates Stadium earlier this season on the 1st of October 2022. And as a result, Arsenal are looking to complete their first league double over Tottenham since 2013-14, which was also their last league victory away against Spurs. So the last time Arsenal won at Tottenham was the season 2013-14. Again, what I've been saying, that this fixture has been dominated by home wins in the past several seasons. And then obviously it's saying it won't be an easy task, however, as Tottenham are unbeaten in their last 8 Premier League home games against Arsenal, winning 6 and drawing 2. They've won their last 3 at home against them, but have never won 4 in a row in their league history. So yeah. This fixture pits 2 of the most successful clubs in English top flight league history together, with only Manchester United 48% and Liverpool 47.5% having a higher win ratio in the top division in England than both the North London clubs. So the team with the highest win ratio in the Premier League is Man United with 48%, Liverpool second with 47.5%, even though Liverpool have played significantly more games than United, because Oh, what? Okay. Um, Never mind that. Never mind. I didn't catch that right. And Arsenal have a 45.8% win ratio, and Tottenham have a 41.9% win ratio, and it's rounded up by City and Chelsea with 41.2%. Like both of them basically have 41.2%. And then um, so in terms of club success, Arsenal lead Spurs by quite a way for both league titles, 13 versus 2, and major trophies won overall, 31 versus 17. Just two of Spurs' major honours have come in the last 31 years. So Tottenham have won just two major trophies in the last 31 years, with both of those coming in the League Cup in 1998-99 and 2007-2008. While Arsenal have won four major titles since Spurs' last trophy, all of them FA Cups, a competition that they have won more often than any other team. Arsenal have won the FA Cup 14 times. Um, okay. So, Arsenal last won the Premier League 19 years ago when the 2003-2004 season saw them top the table by 11 points under the management of Arsene Wenger, ahead of Chelsea. The 17 seasons between then and now have been a progressive struggle, with Arsenal eventually failing to qualify for any European competition for the first time since 1995-1996, following an 8th place finish in the Premier League in 2020-21. Last season was better in comparison, with their 5th position finish enough to get back in the UEFA Europa League. So, obviously, those are the stats there. Sorry, my brother's just disturbing me here. He just wanted some keys. So, basically, this is just giving some stats there in terms of Arsenal last winning the league in 0304. And then, whilst many Arsenal fans could see seeds being sown for future success under Arteta, few would have expected them to flower so soon. 2022-23 has been a dream for the Gunners so far. Now again, Arsenal fans, don't celebrate too soon because the league has not been won yet. Based on 3 points for a win, this is Arsenal's best ever start to a league season, 44 points. It took them until their 24th match of 2021-22 to reach this tally, 7 games more. So again, Arsenal's significantly better this season than they were last year. So obviously, to put some context in terms of how well Arsenal have done this season, best starts after 17 games of a season in the Premier League. Man City in 2017-2018 had 49 points after 17 games and they finished first. Liverpool in 1920 also had the same number of points as City, 49, and they finished first that season. Chelsea in 05-06, 46 points after 17 games, finishing first. Liverpool 18-19, 45 points after 17 games, finishing second. And Arsenal 2022-23, 44 points after 17 games. Obviously, we don't know where they're gonna finish. Now again, that previous one before I read the Arsenal one puts into context that again the league is not won yet because Liverpool had 45 points in 2018-19 and they were first at that moment in time, and City were second, and City eventually won the league and Liverpool didn't. So again, just some context there in terms of what Arsenal are up against. And then okay, obviously in terms of how this game is going to pan out, obviously we know how Antonio Conte likes to play. Antonio Conte will try and counterattack Arsenal. There's no we can't really doubt that. Like he's going to do that. He's going to set up his team in a way that they should defend, basically like they're defending for their lives, and they should counterattack Arsenal. That's what they're gonna do. And Arsenal obviously are gonna want to dominate the ball. They're gonna want to put pressure on Tottenham, but Tottenham are just gonna try and hit them on the break, and that's how the game is gonna pan out. We all know how Antonio Conte likes to play. Okay. Um, okay. Um, Um, I'm just trying to. Okay. I'm just trying to look for more stats here, guys. Harry Kane loves playing against Arsenal. The Spurs and England captain has scored 14 times against Arsenal overall, with all of those coming in the Premier League. He's the highest scoring player in North London derby history, ahead of Bobby Smith and Emmanuel Adebayor, with both 10 goals. Who incidentally is the only player in the Premier League history to score for both clubs in this fixture, with Jimmy Robertson the only other player to do it all time. Kane has also scored the most Premier League goals against Arsenal overall across all teams, aided by the fact that he's both taken and scored more penalties against the Gunners than any other player in the history of the competition, 7 penalties. The striker has scored against 4 different Arsenal goalkeepers: David Ospina, Peter Cech, Ben Leno and Aaron Ramsdale, and 9 of these have come in home games. Just 6 players have scored more goals against a single opponent in Premier League history, with Kane's 18 goals versus Leicester just behind the competition record held by Alan Shearer against Leeds United with 20 goals. Okay, and then Harry Kane is now 2 goals away from becoming just the 28th man to score 200 English top flight league goals in the history of the English Football League. His 198 goals have come in exactly 300 top flight appearances, giving him an exceptional ratio of 0.66 goals per game. As it stands, that rate of 0.66 goals a game in top flight league football is an average better by just 8 of the 27 players to have scored 200 plus goals in English top flight history, and stronger than post-war greats like Alan Shearer, Dennis Law, Steve Bloomer, and Ian Rush. Um, and then when Kane does hit this goal landmark, he will become the first player to reach 200 top flight league goals for an English club since Ian Rush did so for Liverpool in August 1993, just shy of 3 decades ago. Before Rush, it was the late great Jimmy Greaves, also for Spurs in the late 1960s, 220 goals in Division 1. And then just 3 of the 27 players on the Viz below have surpassed 300 goals. Greaves 357, Steve Bloomer 314, and Dixie Dean 310. And Kane will have sights on reaching that landmark too, should age and injuries stay on his side. Obviously, Kane in elite company there. Yeah, man. And that's it now. In terms of the stats there with Arsenal and Tottenham, I've covered Arsenal and Tottenham. I've covered United, City. Obviously, the 2 other teams that will be playing is Chelsea. I think they're gonna play Palace, and it's Liverpool. I think they're gonna play Brighton. Now, I don't think I can say much about those games. Chelsea obviously have been shocking. They are in a crisis at this moment in time because they're just losing left, right, and center. They're just losing for fun. I think they've lost 9 of their last 10 games or something like that. So it's really looking bad for Graham Potter at this moment in time. It's really not looking good for him. Obviously, Todd Bowley has come out and said he's going to back Graham Potter and he's not going to fire him. But the place is starting to become toxic now. The fans are singing Thomas Tuchel's name. The fans are singing Roman Abramovich's name. Obviously, Chelsea fans had their most successful period, the most successful period in their history under Abramovich. And a lot of Chelsea fans really loved Thomas Tuchel because he won them a Champions League title and really improved their team. So that's why they are really not happy at this moment in time with Graham Potter and with Todd Bowley. I think they're going to be playing Crystal Palace on Sunday. I think Crystal Palace are going to win that game. If I'm being honest, I don't think Chelsea are going to win. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Crystal Palace win. And then as far as Liverpool are concerned, Liverpool are going to be playing Brighton. Again, Liverpool are not playing well at this moment in time. They lost their last league game against these lot Brentford. They lost 3-1 to Brentford in their last league game, and they drew against Wolves in the FA Cup. So again, not in good form at all, and they have a lot of injuries. Jota is injured, Luis Diaz is injured, now Darwin Núñez is also injured, Roberto Firmino is also injured. So it's really looking bleak for Liverpool as well at this moment in time. Brighton playing really well. So again, I'm going to go for a Brighton win there. I'm going for a 2-1 Brighton win because Liverpool are not in good form and they are massively struggling with injuries. Also, Virgil van Dijk is not fit. I think he's out for a month or a month and a half with a hamstring injury. So really not looking good for Chelsea and Liverpool at this moment in time. I think they will both lose this weekend. And I'll wrap up the video there, guys. Obviously, please, if you haven't done so, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Please keep pushing that like button and please push that thingy, that subscribe button to keep supporting the channel. I'd really appreciate if you guys did that. And yeah, man, guys, please watch the content and yeah, man, please give me some feedback on the content as well. Comment in the comment section down below. And yeah, man, I appreciate you guys supporting the channel and enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you enjoy the derbies. And yeah, man, hopefully we win and hopefully Arsenal lose. Peace out, and I'll see you in the next one.